What's good? It's your big brother K-Rino, and y'all are tuned in once again to K-Rino Radio YouTube edition. And as y'all can see, I got my big brother back with us. You know, we said we was gonna bring him back for part two, but I wanted it to be sooner than this, but everything happened when it's supposed to happen. So I'm honored to have my brother, the Southwest Student Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam. If y'all know anything about my music, y'all heard him on the song Three Gods. Y'all heard him on the song Last Days. We Don't Expect. Who Are You? Y'all heard him on these different tracks dropping that wisdom. And we got more to come because a lot of things going on out here in these streets in Houston and around the world. And Big Brother has some plans in place that we are very interested in hearing about. And we're going to get right into it. My brother from another, Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad. How you feeling, family?
Fine, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.
Peace be unto you, big brother. Let's get right into it. We're not going to play with them. This Saturday, there is a community roundtable taking place. And it's taking place at the Fountain Life Center on South Main from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I want you to tell the people, just get started in terms of letting them know how this got started and why there's a need for this and exactly what it is that we're doing this Saturday, big brother.
Well, as always, Brother K-Rino, I want to thank you for allowing me on this platform to share what we have from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, from the teachings of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And really, it boils down to making our own neighborhoods safe and decent places to live. And crime cannot be solved by the police. It requires the community. The community has to take charge of its own destiny. The police can only do so much. And so at a certain point in time, we have to decide that our streets, our children, our elders, and each other are going to be safe. And we're going to have a decent neighborhood and community to live in. So, that being said, for years, the Nation of Islam, the brothers have gone door to door. You see us on the corner with the newspaper. But we've gone door to door and we've established a relationship not only with the men and women of the community, but also the street organizations, the street leaders. They at least respect us. They may not come to the mosque. They may not subscribe to our religious tenets, but they respect the fact that we're unapologetically Black. We don't judge them. We love them. And we believe that all people can be redeemed if they want to be redeemed. So, putting that forward, we are concerned because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been warning us for years that, if we don't show that Black Lives Matter, if we don't apply that to ourselves, then what's going to happen is that the violence will continue to spiral out of control. And we would have our own grandmothers and mothers calling for the National Guard to come in, or these task forces and strike teams to come into our community. And who then would they be locking up or killing? It'd be their own grandsons and sons that they've grown afraid of. And so we face a situation where if the men don't stand up in the community, men and women, but men primarily don't stand up in the community, then we're going to bring upon ourselves something that I'll give it to you in a biblical sense, brother. When the people rebelled against Moses and Aaron, and in this case, I'm saying now Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his faithful minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'm putting them in a modern context, in a modern Egypt.
That's right.
When the children of Israel, which is us, rebelled against them and their instructions and what came from God for the people, then God sent fiery serpents after the people and stung them and killed them. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that these are angry white people. Right. Step back for a minute and think about January 6th. You saw people who, when we said Black Lives Matter, they said Blue Lives Matter. Did it? Did Blue Lives Matter on January the 6th? They beat the cops with American flags, with Trump flags, with Confederate flags, with sticks, with bear pepper spray. Baseball bats. They had on bulletproof vests, helmets. kicking, punching these police. They were injured. So if they would do that to their own in the nation's capital, then what do you think they got in store for us?
Come on.
Who do you think buying all these guns?
Come on.
And do you really think that they won't be deputized to come in and to put us in our place if we rise up? So at a certain point in time, for our own survival, and in order to thrive, we have to survive. We're going to have to take charge of our own destiny in our own communities. That being said, beloved, we've been doing work for years. As I thank God that you allow me to be on your, your beautiful art form. For the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said one rap song is worth 100 sermons, including his. It was hard for me to accept when he said that. He said that to Jay Prince in the presence of Quanell X. We were in his suite, and he told him, he said, brother, one of your rap songs will go farther than all of my lectures put together. Brother, that was hard for me to accept, And again, he said it. I know I was there. And it took me years to come to understand that and see it, the influence of the artists who are in the hip hop community. When I began traveling the world, brother, I saw your and other persons' influence around the world. In Turkey, they were bumping hip hop music. China, they were bumping hip hop music. Africa, they were bumping hip hop music. In the Caribbean and in Central and South America, they were bumping hip hop music. So I'm like, you know what? Wake up, dummy. Your man said that their songs are worth 1,000 raps or 1,000 lectures or 100 lectures. Accept it. So I had to grow to accept it. And part of it was, brother, as you know, as we began meeting in 2014, after the Mike Brown killing, and I came back from Chicago, and Minister Farrakhan had met with all of the different rappers and whatnot and gang leaders at the Salam restaurant after he gave a lecture at the Mosque Mariam about Mike Brown, saying that Ferguson was the flashpoint, but Chicago is ground zero. And we're looking at the violence in Chicago. Just keep watching. And these task force now that Merrick Garland has now put in place with the Justice Department going specifically into Chicago. So anyway, I'll come back to us. And I came back from that meeting. Mr. Farrakhan pointed to me and the other student ministers. He said, go back home and duplicate what you saw me do here. And I came in that Sunday and I asked you, would you help me gather the artists together so we form Artists Respecting Community, ARC. And that was our sister Fire, the media mogul. Our sister Fire came up with that name, that acronym, and it grew into something. And it, of course, was adopted by the great OG, Wicked Cricket. He was the spirit that always wanted to see that. And I'm glad that we had him with us to inculcate our minds with that consciousness that rappers should do the things that, remember, we talked about, I think it was 1999 in the mosque with Trey was there and 3-2 and DJ Screw. And I mean, just so many, Carlos, Mexican, South Park Mexican, you, I mean, we was all around the table, man. I mean, and so I'm happy to see brothers like Slim Thug and others doing, housing, and Trey is just blown all the way up, man. He has his Trey Day. I just be so happy to know that along the way, I met these brothers and sisters, and good things are happening and flowing from it.
Let me jump in, because while you were saying, I was thinking about that, because sometimes people don't, and I'm getting a little off subject, I'm gonna come back, but sometimes people like yourself may not realize the long-term impact that your words and your work may have had. And it can go unnoticed by those who don't really have that kind of insight. So going back to 1999, everything you were saying, I'm flashing back, you was talking about buying up the hood and all that way back then. You was talking about getting us to clean up our words and clean up our lyrics way back then. And now you see the brothers that you named starting to come into that mind frame. And I'm just one of those people who feel like you are one of the kind of people that if somebody meets you, they don't have to talk to you long to say, something different about this dude. He knows something. You know, the impact is gonna hit them. And I really believe that a lot of the things that we are seeing from a lot of these brothers who grown from youngsters into men now, they brushed up against you in some form, and some of that sprinkled on them, bro. So we definitely commend you for that work, bro, without a doubt, without a doubt. We're here with Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad. So to get back on what we're talking about now, you always make the comment, you say, which rightfully so, Houston is not necessarily just known just as a gang city, but we are more, to use your words, we're more hood centric. Now, what have happened in the last few years where you starting to see people coming out and putting labels on the gangs and all this different stuff, and why is it that you think that the city has been slow to move, if you feel that way, and what should we expect from the city in order to aid us in this fight?
Well, you would expect, because there's an engraving above City Hall, the horseshoe in City Hall, that says the city is the people. So you would expect that the people would be the driving force in what is desired and what is done in the city. But oftentimes it's not. They are vested interests in what you call status quo, things as they are. So let me put it like this. There is a book that I have on, one of the many books I have on my shelf. There's about that much truth in it, so I'm going to get that much truth out of it, called The Perpetual Prisoner Machine. And in the book, The Perpetual Prison Machine, he blames four entities for this perpetual prison machine. One is the media. And we see that every morning, if it leads, it bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads.
On the news.
So you and I do not feel safe, not because we are going to be the victim of a random crime or a targeted crime. We just don't feel safe because we're made not to feel safe. One. Two, political posters. See, when someone runs for office, they will say, well, what are the people, what do they want? Now, if this was 2017 after Hurricane Harvey, I guarantee you number one would be flooding. All right? But because we're having this crime surge, not that all crimes are going up, it's just that these violent crimes, aggravated assaults, and gun violence has gone up. So now nobody feels safe. So the political posters now, they say, okay, well, what's the issue? I'm going to be tough on crime. I guarantee you when Sylvester Turner, if this crime rate continues as it is, when Sylvester Turner's term ends, the next person that runs, we're going to elect a Donald Trump type person that says, I'm going to be tough on crime. I guarantee you. Watch the language. All right? I'll come back again, part 3, and everybody can tell me I'm wrong in the comment section on part 3. But the third one is the politicians themselves. So now they want truth in sentencing. They want to reform the bail system. Now, they felt like they pushed it too far left with just letting anybody out, and a lot of violent criminals are out on the street. And then now they want to come back and make sure that they keep people locked up. Okay, here we go again. And the fourth one is those who benefit from the prison industrial complex, brother. If in Harris County, Black people make up 18% of the county population, but we make up 48 to 52% of the jail population in Harris County. So now just suppose now, a community group, churches, mosques, rappers, everybody, we just decided that we're not going to let our boys go to juvie anymore. We're not going to let our brothers get caught up in criminal activity where they go to the jail anymore. And all of a sudden now, we cut that in half. Who has the salt and pepper and sugar contract at the Harris County Jail? Who supplies the janitorial supplies? at the Harris County Jail? Who makes and supplies the jumpsuits? Who cleans them? Who washes them? Who does these things? We're taking money out of somebody's pocket, brother.
Right.
There are people who make money off the prison industrial complex,
Right.
and they are going to protect their interests. So you get arrested, you pay a police salary. Police got equipment, cars, radios,
Right.
that budget. Somebody's got a stake in that.
Yeah.
You go to jail, you get booked in. You got to be turned over. If you're arrested in Harris County in 24 hours, you have to be turned over to the sheriff. You got the jailers who are sheriff, and you have the patrol people who are sheriff. But nonetheless, it is in and of itself a complex, a prison industrial complex,
right,
that people getting paid, getting money. The people who supply pens, paper clips, for God's sake, brother. All right, so now I need to get bailed out. The bail bonds people, they're all around the jail, right?
That's right.
So then I need a lawyer. Then if I'm found guilty, I got to pay court costs. I got to pay fines. I got to pay restitution.
Right.
They find some money in my car, my jewelry, my bling bling. You know what I'm saying? My gun, my jewelry. They take that, they seize that asset forfeiture fund. They sell that, and they have that money in the bank.
That's a network.
So it's a whole
That's a
network, as you said, of people who are making money off of the pathologies in our community.
Right.
And what they've done is the legislature and others have made the criminal justice system the default for everything they don't want to finance. So they don't finance mental health. The biggest mental health hospital in Harris County is Harris County Jail.
Man.
So they don't want to deal with homelessness.
Right.
So the police have to have a homeless unit. The police have to have a mental health unit.
Man.
They're not properly educating our children.
Yeah.
So school becomes a place where you come, you hang out, something I do for 8 hours a day. So now you gotta have police roaming the hall in the schools.
Yeah.
So everything now has been defaulted to law enforcement that they don't want to do, and they deindustrialize the country, brother. We don't make anything anymore.
Right.
If you do a label check, most of everything we got is made in China. Walmart is the largest distributor of Chinese-made goods in America.
Yeah.
And now Amazon, who's busted that. So the point is, brother, that along the Scott Street corridor, near Miles 45, which is at Old Spanish Trail, near McGregor Park, but up the Scott Street corridor, west of that, on the Scott Street corridor, starting from I-45 all the way down to Sims Bayou, and then cutting over on Selinsky, and going over there in South Park, with the Villa Americana over there by by Sterling and all that whole spot, the dead end. Well, it used to be a dead end, ain't no dead end. Well, it used to be a dead end, cut all the way through. It used to be a dead end, But along the Scott Street corridor, when you talk about zip codes 04, 21, 33, and 51, 10%, and this 2019 figures, that 10% of the robberies, homicides, and aggravated assaults were there.
Yeah.
So we focus near the mosque, CUNY Homes. We focus with the Royal Palms, which is over there by Palm Center. That's another hub. South Lawn. We know how much violence would take place in South Lawn. We'll get to that South Lawn gang injunction in a minute. Really kind of inspires this. Then we're talking Sunnyside. We're talking Kings Row Apartments. We're talking Scott Plaza. And I already mentioned the Americana. So all of that whole area, man. The jailhouse or the birdcage apartments over there off of Cullen. That's our stomping ground, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's our stomping ground. That's our people. But we go in and we talk to them, and what we're trying to do is establish communication so that we stop killing one another. So it can't be the 103s against everybody.
Right.
Can't be the early boys against everybody. South Lawn, YSBs, and all against the murder mob, all the going up and down here. It became literally a killing field, man, and innocent and children were getting killed.
Yeah.
And brother, as a clergyman, brother, I'll be honest with you, in 34 years, brother, there's one thing that I just cannot get out of my ears, and that is the wailing of a mother who has to bury her children.
Yeah.
Now, talking about gangs, street organizations.
Right.
You remember that the district attorney at that time, Devin Anderson, I think it was Devin Anderson at that time, because I don't think Kim Ogg was in office then. That's right, it was Devin Anderson. They had filed a civil injunction, they called a gang injunction.
Right.
And from 610 and all the way up to, I think, Old Spanish Trail and over to Yellowstone and over to 288, they put a gang injunction on about 100 brothers that they identified that was in street organization, that they would ban them from South Lawn for life.
Get out.
Didn't care whether their mama lived there, grandmama lived there. They were going to be banned for life. We fought that.
Yeah, that's right.
And won. We defeated it.
Won, that's right.
But, Brother Reginald Gordon, OG1, myself, and others, and you all were there. Remember the ARC? Remember Vivian King, Monique? I forget Monique's last name. Jolanda. All them that was the sisters-in-law. If you remember that, I forget Monique's last name. Monique Jones. I forget her name, but she was an attorney, and we helped defeat this gang injunction.
Right.
The DA, the sheriff, the mayor's office, city council, HPD, state senator, state representatives, county commissioner, you name it, we're all around the table. What are we going to do with these brothers who now are not in this gang injunction, or as we're fighting this, the gang injunction is unraveling? These brothers wanted to change their life, man. They came to extra meetings, man. They wanted to change. They wanted to go to welding school. They wanted to go to trade school. They wanted to go back, get their education. They wanted to get their life together, man. They were willing to do that. Some of them were willing to do that, man. And them politicians left us high and dry, man.
Man.
That's all I got to just say it like it is.
Yeah, say it. That's right. That's right.
They left us, man.
And the cold-blooded part about that is thinking about how delicate of a situation that is, in terms of, like, it's hard enough to get the attention of them brothers in the first place, and to get them to trust. And then you got trustworthy people who get them in, and then the non-trustworthy ones deceive, and they make it hard on the people who really putting in the work, because as you said in the beginning, those brothers and those sisters, they know y'all, they know the rappers, they know who we are, and if that alternative is presented to them, or something that's laid out to give them an alternative, they put their hopes and dreams in it, because a lot of those cats don't glorify being out there like they out there. You got a handful that do, but the majority of them are like, man, it's just survival. So go ahead and finish. That just struck me when you were saying that, how they just left us high and dry on that.
So, this is the truth. And I challenge any of them to challenge me publicly on this, or privately. I will tell them to their face, man. Yeah. All we have, brother, is our word and our reputation.
Yeah.
People know me. No compromise, no sellout.
That's right.
I love them unconditionally. I don't judge them, but I know that they can do better.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do whatever we can do to help them.
Right.
But that being said, brother, They left us high and dry. So they didn't stop us from working.
Right.
ARC and our brother Gary Monroe, who's a alumnus of Jack Yates High School and played on the championship team for 1985, the undefeated team for 1985. Been the driving force in what we call one Houston, one hood. And we went around to all the high schools, man. And the thing about it, HISD was denying that they had a street organization or a gang problem. But we knew better.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we went to all of the high schools, brother. Just not all of them, but so many of them, brother, and gave presentations. Reginald Gordon, Sister Calandria, Simpson Kemp, Sister Cliche, yourself. There were many who came, mothers who had lost children to gang violence or gun violence, even when in gang violence, some that lost lives to police brutality. And we went around to the schools talking to these children, and they were hearing us, man. Right? So from that, we began to study best practices from around the country. Some related to the Nation of Islam, but not all, but many. Therefore, why going door to door? But you had the Peacekeepers, which is Captain Dennis. He's in Columbus, Ohio now. You had David Muhammad. He's out of California, and he has a piece where he has this kind of called Trusted Messengers, where you take a brother out the hood, pay him a stipend, train him up to go in and be a violence intervention specialist. So somebody gets shot. And I know at the hospital, the homeboys that come there and trying to comfort the grieving mother, the girlfriend, the baby mama, all of that, they know who did it.
That's right.
They won't tell the police, but they know who did it. And they say, yeah, okay, we're going to get so-and-so. And if we don't get him or them, we know one of them we're going to get. So the violence intervention specialist, who's a trusted messenger, will go to them and say, come on, man. Come on. Slow your jets. Because many times it's not even that, any one of them will do. It ain't even the one that did it. It's any one of them will do. And I learned this from this movie called 21 Bullets, man. That spilled blood doesn't dry.
Oh, come on.
It doesn't dry, brother.
Oh.
It never dries, because when you kill somebody, you kill their family is impacted, the community is impacted, and that cycle just keeps on. And it's as if people enjoy watching us slaughter one another. Yeah. We have to stop it. So that being said, we couldn't take on the whole city. Houston is 650 square miles of extraterritorial jurisdiction. So we have to pick where we can according to our resources and that. So we put together what we call the Scott Street Peace Initiative. It's a 21-page plan, a strategic plan. You see it says one Houston, one hood. I wrote it up, but it comes from all of our work that we were doing, brother. And we put it together so that we could create these life recovery coaches. We could create violence intervention specialists. We could create peacemakers and peacekeepers. We could create what they have in Newark, which is a Newark community street teams, right? What they have now in Dallas. Violence in this, they actually funded violence intervention specialists, like they have in Washington, D.C. So all of this is there, so we can basically prevent and intervene in these situations. So it's prevention and intervention before investigation and detention. But. And let me tell you something. So they had the shooting in Santa Fe High School. You remember that the shooting there at Santa Fe High School? Yeah, Santa Fe, right down the road. Down there. There was a shooting, a high school shooting. Cat came in, he shot up a bunch of people in the school. So the Mayor Turner put together the Mayor's Anti-Gun Violence Commission. I served on that commission. And as a community representative. And as a community representative, we had already put together the Scott Street Peace Plan. It was adopted by the mayor's anti-gun commission. But it ain't free.
Yeah, right.
We could do the things we do out of volunteer, spare time. But we got to work, we got to eat, we have to do that. But we put together, drawing from best practices from around the country that have worked, and even our own work here. We put together a plan that would address the Scott Street corridor, because when you looked at the TDC prison population, many of them come out of Southeast Houston, Cashmere Gardens and Fifth Ward, Acres Home. That's where a lot of the prisoners are from. So if we could create this template, then we can go to Guns Point or Greens Point. I shouldn't go to Guns Point. We could go to Greens Point and apply some of those principles there. We could go out in the Southwest, the wild, wild Southwest, and go out and apply those principles there. We could go to the East Side and translate it into Spanish and tell our Hispanic brothers and sisters, look here, man, hey, this thing is dangerous.
Right.
You know, only a fool fights in a burning house. And this house is on fire. You know? So anyway, this has a $900,000 price tag.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it never got any traction. That's not to say that different entities in the city didn't help us with hurricane relief funds or food giveaways during the pandemic, or water giveaways or things like that, or CARES Act giveaways. It's not that these things didn't happen, but that's not intervention specifically for this deal.
Right.
So we went out and we just shopped this. We sent the deal. We said, look, maybe it's because it's grassroots, it's Nation of Islam affiliated, you know, not that it's just all Nation of Islam, because they're people who ain't in the mosque that's a part of this piece, right? I said, well, maybe it's that. So let me get some credible folk, like maybe University of Houston, Texas Southern University, to look at this plan. And they did. And he took the plan and they made the plan part of a proposal that they put before the then Trump's CDC, the Center for Disease Control, anti-gun violence injury proposal, grant proposal. They took the Scott Street plan, and put it together in a proposal where the University of Houston Graduate School of Social Work, and Texas Southern University's Criminal Justice Research Center, or Center for Justice Research, would take it. They would be the evaluators. They would be the ones that would be the fiscal agent. So it would be no funny business with the money and all that kind of stuff, because I ain't going to jail. I don't look good in federal khakis. I don't look good in county orange, and I doggone sure don't look good as a TDC lawnmower, you know, in all white. That ain't me.
That's right.
But anyway, they put it together, and guess what, Brother K-Rino? This plan with Texas Southern University and with University of Houston being our partners in putting forth this plan, financing it or funding it, and studying it to see if it works.
Right.
Maybe I'm just talking noise.
Right.
But they took it serious enough to say, hey, this is something that we can use. But guess what, brother? It was endorsed by every politician you could think of. Congress, the mayor. These are all endorsement letters. These are my endorsement letters.
Right.
Council, city council, police chief, district attorney, state rep, state senator. All these endorsement letters. to go with this package. So everybody's seen the plan, knows the plan and all that, but yet it's not known.
Yeah.
It's not being implemented in its fullness, and nor is it being properly funded.
Why?
Well, I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
Yeah.
What hurts me more than anything is that every time there's a spike in crime, they'll give $2 more million for police overtime.
Yeah.
And I'm not against that, brother. You know, I never was part of that defund the police thing. But I'm sure not with that other side of lock them up, throw away the key, neither.
Right.
Yeah, I don't trust neither one of them. In fact, I don't trust liberals. I don't trust conservatives, nor do I trust moderates.
Man,
it was moderates that made us 3/5 all over persons, you know.
Come on.
Right? Because you had the Virginia plan and you had the New Jersey plan, and they couldn't get on. And the Constitutional Convention of America in 1787 was about to break up. The South and the North about to break up. And Roger Sherman, good old Roger Sherman, the moderate, came with the Connecticut plan. And guess what? We were counted as 3/5 of all other persons.
We was almost a person.
We was almost a person. So I don't trust moderates. Every time moderate got in the mix, it was the compromise of 1850. It was the Kansas-Nebraska Act. It was you name it, brother. We always got shot from both sides, man. And it was always at our expense. So I don't like liberals. I don't like conservatives. I don't like I don't go by those labels. That's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't like them. I just don't go by those labels.
Well, let me ask you.
Silly.
So if the city never funds this plan, never puts any resources behind it, and knowing you like I know you ain't just gonna say, well, that didn't work. Let's try to. What is the next step to try to make sure this thing goes through? Is it the community? Hey, we got to put a fund together. Or what has that? Because I know it's more than money. It's also going to be bodies and resources. But what happens if the city just never jumps on board with this?
We have to publicize it, brother. You know, nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come.
Right.
And we just have to publicize. Well, part of the problem is people don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but Gary Monroe's been saying, we got a plan. And they all got it.
Yeah.
So they know we got the plan. But see, if the people don't call for something different, see, it was like the testimony that the man said today. He said things are different, but nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I said, "Whoa, that was deep."
Yeah.
I said, "Man, that was heavy, man. That reminded me of the brother that was a 5%er, man. When I was in college my freshman year, man, we was sitting up in my dorm room, and we was doing what we do.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you know what, brother? You got to understand if you want to be understood. Okay. I said, get out my room. you know, mess my head up. Get out my room. Man.
Drop it on.
Yeah, but the man said today at the 1-6 commission, he said things are different, but nothing has changed. Well, things are different.
Right.
But nothing has changed.
Right.
So we got to be the change we're waiting for. We got to continue as we're doing, going door to door, going to the schools when school open up, because these children been out of school for a whole year. I guarantee you, K-Rino, there's going to be behavior problems in school.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because the teachers have been on lockdown for a year and the students.
Yeah.
Now they got to interact again.
You got to discipline everybody. Yeah.
So now, are you going to wear masks or not wear masks?
Right.
Have you been vaccinated or not vaccinated?
Right.
Do you got COVID or not got COVID? Man, look here, man. It is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
So, so it may not even be that we're trying to stop gang fratricide. Some of this stuff is random now.
Man. Yeah.
Cats killing their ex-wife who's pregnant by their present boyfriend. Jokers just running up in folks' house, shooting the brother and the sister, and shot the 10-year-old in the arm. She had to pretend she was dead.
Yeah.
And then she called her grandmother on the phone. Yeah. Homeboy out on 7 felony bonds, kills his baby mama and shoots his baby, wounds his baby on his first birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What Mom Gay asked what's going on, and we asking the same question. So, but if we can take off the table some of it that may be related to conflict between neighborhoods
Right.
and street organizations.
Right.
There's one study that's in this package that was submitted. It was never funded by the CDC. You know, Trump's whole government was dysfunctional.
Right.
But it's a good proposal. It's
Right.
a great proposal put together, and this will be the basis of some of what we talk about on Saturday.
Right.
But there is a study that's quoted that says for 10% reduction in crime will result in $17 million in budgetary savings for a city.
Wow.
and hundreds of millions of dollars that could be reinvested in communities that are disadvantaged. Let me see if I can find that quote right quick. But anyway, it's in here. But you know, the goals of the Scott Street plan was the street organization conflict intervention, establish safe spaces for conflict resolution and training, economic development, rehabilitation of street organization members, prevention of youth involvement in street organizations, promotion of peacemaking and community building through arts and culture, that's y'all,
right,
and enhancement of public safety. See what has to happen is there has to be a resetting of police community relations. They're out of whack.
Right.
I can tell you, brother. Let me ask you something, brother K-Rino. This is like Jeopardy. Do. Let me ask you something. Why do they call the police in London or in England bobbies?
No, I have no idea.
That's because of Sir Robert Peel. Sir Robert Peel started the Metropolitan Police Force over there as tasked to Scotland Yard in like 1829, right? And he had 9 principles of policing, one of which was that when it came to policing, the principle was to prevent crime and to keep order. Prevent crime.
Right.
Not to respond to
it. Right.
To prevent it.
Right.
So you come home, K-Rino, you leave the house, you come home, you unlock the door, and when you unlock the door, there's water is all on your floor. You said, man, I need to get a bucket and mop this up, the water up. No, you said, well, wait a minute, hold on, where's this water coming from?
Right.
You go to your kitchen sink. You should have washed them dishes before you left the house. There's dishes in your sink, but you know what? You was on the phone when you was leaving the house and you left the faucet running. What do? Water on the floor, sinks are stopped up, faucets running. What is the first thing you do? Do you get do you get a mop and bucket? B, do you pull the dishes out of the sink? Or C, do you cut off the faucet? You cut off the faucet, right? Then you might want to unstop the sink. Yeah, you can do that. So stop the water's not running over anymore. And then you get the mop and bucket and you mop it up. Right. We have to be in the mindset of preventing it.
Right.
There's nothing more dignified than work.
Right.
We want to take guns out of brothers' hands and put a welding torch in his hand. Yeah. I'd rather these sisters whose cries I can still hear in my ears, beloved. Went to Tristan Hudson's funeral and listened to his mama scream with this 8-year-old boy laying in a casket. Man, I ain't never forgot that, man. There's a lot to, I can't forget Ola Tucker and her 2 boys that was murdered weeks apart, man. And the cry that with her family and man, people falling out in church, man, it was crazy, man. So let me ask you, so what I would much rather our sons be laying rebar and pouring concrete than for mothers to be laying their children to rest and pouring dirt on top of their caskets, man.
Come on, man.
So So I go to something that's a little off subject, but it's on subject. You know, the argument for us taking the vaccine kind of goes like this: the benefits outweigh the risks. So now we have the North Houston Highway Improvement Project.
Okay.
And right now, the county, the mayor, different ones are fighting it. And TxDOT's threatening that if they don't get the support for the, they're going to take this project and take that money and put it somewhere else. It's an $8 billion project, brother.
Hey.
That's going to create 187,000 jobs, 90 something thousand direct jobs, and another 90 or 80,000 indirect jobs, and $19 billion worth of economic impact across the state. Now, brother, out of them 90 something thousand construction jobs, direct jobs that are going to be done, or something near that, you think we can get a couple of these brothers in trade school and put some real money in their pocket so they can give up that life?
Come on.
You think we can't get some of these OGs that's coming out of prison? They may not know how to read, write, and all that. They may not be, doctor so-and-so, but they sure enough know how to do a thing. They got these hands, man. So you gonna tell me that you gonna let these people pull this money and Houston, Galveston area is still one of the economic engines of Texas,
Wow.
And this is gonna hurt us, man.
Yeah.
They've been kicking the can down the road when it comes to flooding. Decades they've been kicking the can down the road.
Right. And finally,
when it comes to affordable housing, this city has not. It's gentrification is just where's housing community development? I mean, for years.
Right.
Show me all the housing stock you built.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
And then when it comes to what you call multimodal transportation, we don't have a public transit system. We don't have a real robust one here.
Right.
Every cowboy in Houston likes to ride their own whip, their own car.
No doubt.
Right? But even in the greatest cowboy movies, they did ride in on the stagecoach or on the train. Yeah. Oh, don't forsake me, oh my darling. Right?
Yeah.
So come on, y'all.
Yeah.
So we have agencies that do transit. We don't really support Metro. No. We don't support the Gulf Coast Rail District. We don't support even the rail division of TxDOT. But now they're going to invest this $8 billion to do something. They're going to take some houses and all that. But my argument to all of these people is, we need to look out for the poor. You want to look out for the poor during this gentrification. You're not looking out for the poor. I put it like this. Here's my challenge. Over the last 5 years, we have lost more housing stock in our community to tax foreclosure sales at the beginning of each month,
right,
than all of the land taken by Metro, TxDOT, and the city of Houston through eminent domain. Hey, we believe Islam is mathematics. If you can prove quantitatively that I made an incorrect statement, I'll be the first to confess. Right. Do the study.
Right.
Go down there and see how much we lose to tax foreclosure versus eminent domain.
They snatching paid for houses behind the taxes, basically.
And they snatching them up. And if you look at who owns those houses, them ain't our names. So the hood is being bought up by investors.
Right, that's right.
And by people that putting their money together. We could do the same thing. That's all I was telling the brothers and sisters when we met at the mosque that time. That's all I've ever talked about, owning your own records, owning your own royalties, controlling your own distribution. I told them, I'm not Reverend Cash a check. I don't want your money. I just want you to be successful.
Come on now.
You remember?
I'll bear witness.
You remember when them people were harassing Brother Trey?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Out there where he was living, and they was messing with him and his family out there.
And to let the people know, they were harassing Trey out there in the white neighborhood. And he called me and I called Big Brother. He was like, can he come out? And Brother Abdul Haleem came out with a few FOIs. and we rode through the neighborhood and just posted up. And your words was, he's like, I just want to get out and let them see us. Just let them see. If they looking out their windows, they I'm like, whoa, these suit and bow tie. We know who they are, and let's let them see. And I remember we hung around kind of in the yard for a little bit, just kind of let them see us. Then we went inside, shot a little pool, ate a little bit. And because they were harassing people coming in and out of the neighborhood, people that were connected to trade, because just being racist, basically, So that's just another thing that you've always done is like, you stand up, and you don't just stand up for the big man, you stand up for the little man as well, and while you mentioned that give me a time to just to show you some love. I remember one time we was at Emancipation Park when they first breaking in a new Emancipation. They had put all that money into it. And this lady walked up to you and she was almost in tears when she just walked up to you and you were just like, you don't remember me? And you was like, no, sister, I don't really remember you. And she was like, you helped me pay my rent one time, and then you was like, but then when she left, you leaned over like, I don't even remember that. But it just that's how much great work that you've done to where your good deeds have traveled to the farthest back part of your memory, because you don't stop. You don't just do one good thing and then I'm just gonna rest and sit on that. It's so much, bro. That's why we appreciate you. What role can the community play? Everybody's invited to this Saturday, correct? So
even if they can't make it, K-Rino, we're going to stream it on United in Peace on Facebook. They can look at Abdul Haleem Muhammad on Facebook. I'm gonna try to do it on multiple platforms to stream it.
Right.
But we'll be at 14083 South Main 77035. That's the Life Center there, Fountain Life Center. There on Main and Hillcroft.
Right.
And we'll be starting at 11. And what we're going to do is present the plan.
Right.
See, people don't know.
Will it be open for people to ask questions if they show up? Like kind of like.
Yes. And we're gonna have area content experts.
Okay.
We're gonna have the people really that been doing the work.
Right.
Kashima out of she's Frazier now, out there for 9 Block.
Right.
Out there, out the Homestead area. We got Northside coming through.
Right.
We probably have some people from Greenspoint. We got brothers coming from Acres Homes. We got people from mental health that's coming. HPD probably be there. I mean, I've sent out invitation to everybody.
Right.
I'm not afraid to present it and say, okay, how do we make this happen? We just want you to know. Okay, let me hear from you. How do we implement this? Are you willing to go out? We got door hangers, brother. Right. We got door hangers that the people that we could have that I don't have it right here with me, but we have door hangers, brother, and people can take to the neighborhood and just go around a peacemaking door hangers.
Right. Right.
Right. And come on out and let's do this thing, and then at a certain point in time, help us to get it funded.
Right.
At least let us study it.
Right. Right.
If it doesn't work, then you can say, well, Muhammad, we gave it a shot. It didn't work. But to continue, as we going, brother, we're gonna have 500 homicides this year. My mind is set against that. As much as I had a good communications with former Chief Acevedo, when he finger rolled that out when he left here, he did like one of them George Gervin finger rolls on top of the key. You know I'm talking about, old school George Gervin finger roll. He said, you're going to have 500 murders in Houston. Boom. And then he dropped the mic and I said, whoa, no, bro. Yeah. No. But the rate we going?
Yeah. Man.
But we have to do all we can to stop it.
Right. That's right.
Because spilled blood.
Come out. If y'all listen, y'all got to come out, because a lot of times we'll talk about changes that we want to see, stuff that, man, they need to do something about it. They need to do something about it. Who's they? So come out. Don't be scared to ask a question. Don't be scared to just, if you don't want to ask, just sit and listen, because, when people are working this hard to make our community safe, it can be frustrating at times when it's like it don't seem like you're getting that equal effort back from the community. We got to come out if we claim we want to save our community, save our children. Y'all come on out Saturday, man. Straight up, man. Come on out. I have all the information in the description and all that, so people can come out and just sit and listen. Everybody, every type of area of expertise will be there, so there won't be a question that you ask that somebody won't be able to answer. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, and even if we can't answer it, then we'll get you the answer.
Right.
Come with your mask, though. I don't care whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. Bring your mask up in that joint.
No doubt,
man. Because I'm telling you, there's people that got the vaccination that's getting the COVID. Right. Come on, y'all.
Come on now.
Don't let nobody scare you into stuff, man. Think, y'all. Just some social distancing. Wear your mask. Do this thing. Don't get, come on, y'all.
Don't get lulled into that.
Don't get lulled to sleep in this
sense of normalcy.
Because they're gonna put some kind of disclaimer on this thing because we said that word, the V word.
Oh yeah. I'm used to it at this.
That's a whole nother show.
Absolutely.
That's a whole nother show. But again, brothers and sisters, understand that the people that we're dealing with, these fiery serpents that we're dealing with, you can't name, shame, and blame them into changing. They don't care about political correctness. Right. When you saw the Clash of the Titans, he said, release the Kraken. Right. The Kraken, came from underneath the sea. It was this terrible monster even the Titans was afraid of. Right. Well, the Kraken of racism has been released. Come on. And these people, they've made critical race theory everything. Right. Anything about our history that they don't want to acknowledge happened to us. Right. So at a certain point in time, brother and sister, we got to say, and listen, this isn't just, I'm not being pejorative of all whites, because I know that you and even I have people who really respect our positions.
Absolutely.
Now, is, brother.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to say this straight up. Everything that we're doing, you want to erase us from the history books? You don't want to acknowledge the racism that has been in everything from housing discrimination to medical inequity to economic disinvestment to straight up terrorism and murder of our people, of these massacres that have gone on, not just Black Wall Street. I can name you dozens of these massacres that have taken place.
Right.
Sundown towns, police misconduct, prison industrial complex, tax schemes that have taken our property. At the turn of, I think I said this last time we were together, brother. The turn of last century, we had 15 million acres of agricultural land, K-Rino. At the turn of this century, it's down to 1 million. We had 1 million Black agricultural farmers. We're down to 45,000 now. Who's feeding us?
Yeah.
Why do we have diabetes? Why do we have high blood pressure? Why is there a Walgreens across the street from a CVS?
Yes, that's right.
Across the street from a McDonald's, across the street from a Burger King. Fast food is killing us fast.
Yeah.
What happened to the food deserts? Why did they move HEB from Scott and OST over there to closer to the medical center? Yeah. I'm not against it. It's a nice HEB and all of that. But we got food deserts in our community, man. So please, brother and sister, understand that we're contributing to our own destruction.
That's right.
And we have to now take control of our own destiny and our own communities. And I say to us, get out of this illusion of inclusion and these integrationist fantasies. And settle down and understand what's good for Black people is good for America.
Come on.
Y'all can repeat after me. What's good for Black people is good for America.
Right.
The 14th Amendment equal protection under the law. Everybody has benefited from these post-Reconstruction or these Reconstruction amendments.
Right.
Gay and lesbian community, other so-called minority, white women, even disabled people. The American Disabilities Act is based upon the 14th Amendment. Everybody's benefited from our pain, our struggle.
Come on now.
So what's good for the Black community is good for America. You're not taking nothing away from nobody. You're adding to.
Come on.
Have that attitude, brother and sister. Because from a divine standpoint, we have been in bondage for over 466 years. God is answering our cries of our ancestors and even today in our unborn children. This country is under judgment.
Come on.
And we have to understand that you're watching, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, the unraveling of a great nation. The question is, are we going to unravel with it?
Come on. Come on.
Now, either we're going to stand up and do something for self, or we're not.
Right.
We, meaning Black people in particular, we gave the Democrats the Senate. Where's your voting rights bill? How come a filibuster is not in the Constitution? The filibuster is a rule.
Come on.
Get rid of the filibuster, even for this, just for this piece, and get your voting rights back. You mean to say you got to beg these people?
Hey.
Are you serious?
Come on, bro.
You gave them the House, you gave them the Senate, you gave them the White House, you put a Black Asian woman as the vice president. How you like me now? You still got to march. You still got to beg. You still got to get arrested. You got to do stuff you were doing in the 50s and 60s to get modern day rights.
Come on now. Come on.
You got to run away from the Texas legislature. I'm not knocking them. I appreciate what they're doing. I know they're doing something that's good for me and my children, but damn.
Man.
This is 2021.
Come on.
We're still doing stuff like it's 1961.
Oh, man. Facts.
So at a certain point in time, brothers and sisters, we have to close ranks.
Yes, sir.
And we have to have an unapologetically Black or community-based agenda.
Right.
And then we've got to have people to address that agenda.
That's right.
Everybody's got an agenda. You can't run for Congress. You can't run for national office unless you go to members of the Jewish community and ask them, or they ask you, where do you stand on Israel? You can't go before the unions unless they ask you, what do you stand on labor rights? You can't go before the LGBTQ community and not be asked, where do you stand on our rights?
Right.
You can't go to the oil and gas people for money and not have their agenda put in front of you. But when you come to Black people, what do? You tell them what you're gonna do. Instead of Black people say, no, here's our agenda, here's our tempo, here's our agenda.
Come on.
Here's what I want. If you want my vote and my support, I need you to support this plan.
That's right.
Can you support this plan?
That's right. When
I get in office, you got a budget of $1 million. Can you give 500,000 to this?
Right. Right.
Where's our agenda? Where's our housing agenda? Come on. Where's our unapologetically Black agenda? Where is it?
Right.
Everybody, insurance companies has it. Mm-hmm. Everybody has it, brother. The environmentalists have it. Everybody has it but us.
Right.
So, brothers and sisters, listen. Listen to me. I'm deeply concerned about where we are. I love this city, man.
Yeah.
I love the people in it.
Right.
I'm originally from New York. Everybody knows that. In New Jersey and the East Coast. But I love me some Houston, Texas, man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see you suffer.
Mm.
What you're going to suffer because you refuse to unite.
Come on.
And do what's common sense. 100 years ago, we were all Republicans.
Right. That's right.
You wouldn't have voted Democrat if Jesus was on the ballot.
Yeah,
100 years ago.
that's right.
It's true. So now, okay, we all Democrats now, but everybody got to come to the table. I don't care whether you are conservative, liberal, or moderate, Republican, Democrat, independent. I don't care. Believe in God, don't believe in God. Do you believe in the truth?
Yeah.
And are you ready to sit down and to do something good for the community? We want to thank Pastor Remus Wright and co-pastor Mia Wright for them opening up. That was where we had our first gang summit, if you remember, about 2 years ago. No, really, about 3 years ago. It was wow.
Yeah.
We had our first. Actually had a gang summit there.
Right.
It was big. It was nice.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's how we hooked up with 9 Block, and we did some things. And some of them. And if we would have got done what we got done, we could have stood it there. But there's a lot of them boys that I met over there, man. Some of them are dead now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of them in the South Lawn and in the Scott Street corridor are dead now.
Yeah.
Because we just don't have what we need to sustain. Right. So for me, my focus right now is on economic development.
Yeah.
And making sure that we get more than our fair share. We get what's necessary so that some of these brothers can be. You cannot solve crime without rebuilding family and community life.
Come on.
Not just living together in a proximity. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of black people in this zip code, whole bunch of black people in this census block. That's not a community. Community is something that functions from top to bottom.
Right.
So I don't know, Brother K-Rino. I just want to thank you
for
having me on the show. I love your music, and I need your latest album.
I got you. I got you.
I'm sorry.
Brother. No,
I can't. All that I can do the digital, but you need to I like to have your stuff in my hands. You know what I mean?
Physical, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A blessing and a burden, Now, where you got that from? Anyway,
the old school. The old school, bro. You know, we like to read the credits and all that. Yeah. No, bro, we thank you because again, you know, you've been on the front lines of this fight for decades, literally, and no matter what it is, you right there immersed in it, getting down for the crown, gloves up. So we thank you because not just for being in the mix all the time, but for being a dependable and honest, reliable brother that we can look to and depend on. You know, and it's funny because again, you know, it crosses religious lines. It's like the majority of our people are Christians, but when something happens and they pop off, they're gonna call Muhammad phone is gonna ring somewhere. You know, so that just speaks to just the reliability and the trust that you've established, you know, with the community and other brothers like yourself. So man, y'all make sure that y'all are there this Saturday. If you're in Houston or surrounding areas, man, come on through, man, or just watch it online or just stay in tune with it, because this is not being done for no kind of glorification. This is done to literally save our community, man. So this Saturday, 11, I have all the information in the description. Y'all be sure to come out. I appreciate the love, big brother. You know what time it is.
I look forward to it, Brother K-Rino. We're gonna, inshallah, meaning be the will of Allah, we're gonna have the mosque back open sometime in October. They can go to noihouston.org if they want to contribute to the mosque building fund. We almost finished our renovations, trying to get our occupancy permits and do some things. We'll probably put some bells and whistles in there to make it a sustainable facility in case the next freeze or the next hurricane.
Right.
And we'll have a place that will function, particularly as an emergency management center to help our people in the community. So Minister Farrakhan has taught me long ago, beloved. He said, I don't want you just thinking for the Muslims alone, or really black people alone. He said, I want you to think for the whole and speak for the whole.
That's right.
But it's always self first,
right,
and then others.
Come on now.
So I got to make sure, just like the flight attendants tell you, in case of the unlikely event of a loss of oxygen, cabin pressure, a mask will fall down out of the compartment. Take it to the elastic, put it over your head, and draw it in. Just because the bag's not going doesn't mean that oxygen's not flowing. But please, if someone needs assistance, put yours on first.
Right. That's right.
Before you help the next person.
Can't help nobody till you help yourself.
So let's do something for ourselves. And if we do something for ourselves, we will earn the respect. We don't have to demand respect. We will earn the respect of even the most ardent racists.
That's right.
Will respect us for doing something for ourselves. Because when Black Lives Matter and we love ourselves like we seem to love everybody else,
right.
And they kill one of us, they'll know.
Yeah.
By our response,
right.
That Black lives do matter.
Come on now.
So love ye one another, even as the Master has loved us, and you'll know your value in the eyes of God.
Come on.
So thank you, Brother K-Rino, for having me, and may Allah bless you.
Allah bless you too. Wa alaikum salam, big brother. Thank you.